KTLA. It's the one that passes in front of various government buildings, including the federal government's INS headquarters downtown here, the police department headquarters, City Hall, the backside of City Hall. It is now shut down. They shut it down about a half an hour ago, and it's creating a tremendous traffic jam down here as people are being forced to go in other ways, and a lot of streets are closed here. They don't want to let anyone drive up in front of these public buildings. And so they've closed down the streets.
And then, Eric, these are the things that are open, and this may change too, so please let us know if this changes. Apparently the LA City elections are not going to be canceled, and apparently the schools are still open, save the extracurricular activities.
As far as we know.
Okay. Eric Spillman live at the scene downtown.
We go back now to New York City, where you see the smoke continuing to billow from lower Manhattan, where the terrorist attack took place earlier this morning. Now, I have some new information from Nablus on the West Bank and the Palestinian reaction to the attacks this morning.
We had that brief statement from President Bush from Florida a moment ago, but one can't help wondering whether the president is en route somewhere, they certainly will not disclose where it is, to meet with the top leaders and to decide on a course of action.
I think the most important thing right now is to deal with those people who are in greatest peril,
yes,
those people at the Twin Towers, and to try to search and rescue.
I think this is indicative of the collateral damage, if you want to call it that, the structural damage that will affect the area. Now, I mentioned earlier the World Trade Center sits on 16 acres of land. Now, if you imagine standing in the prairie and looking out over 16 acres, that's quite a lot of ground.
Oh, yeah.
And then having buildings that are 110 stories tall falling down on that ground, that would seem like a spot. So therefore, one has to assume that it has affected a huge area of that lower part of Manhattan, and that buildings all around the World Trade Center would be affected by flying debris, rocks, you name it. It would be a tremendous impact and could weaken the structures of many of the buildings immediately around the World Trade Center. And the American Express building, according to Hal Fishman, in truth is now in state of collapse, could collapse.
Yeah, just the concussion from the explosions at the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center could shake the foundations of some surrounding buildings. We heard earlier reports, I think, Carlos, that some of the buildings around the World Trade Center in the immediate vicinity were in threat of collapse or had suffered a tremendous amount of damage. Just one more announcement here, Carlos, before you do what you're going to do there. And I'm sure here in Los Angeles, a lot of people who are watching our program were wondering about this, among the other things that have been affected. Madonna's concert tonight at the Staples Center and the Black Crowes concert at the Greek Theater, both postponed. Those who hold tickets for Madonna's concert will be advised at a later date whether the show will be rescheduled or whether you'll get a refund. So those two more shows, entertainment shows that have been canceled or postponed anyway.
Yeah, there was an event at the Greek, the Black Crowes. There was Madonna at Staples.